You'll be just fine, but it might take a while. I'll be just fine, but it...
This video will be dealing with the topic of cancer and serious illness. Please view at your own discretion. Today is May 29th, 2017, and a year ago today, I was sitting in my hospital bed going through one of the hardest days of my life. So, here's a bit of backstory. On May 24th, 2016, I went for a chest x-ray, just a standard chest x-ray, because I had a cough that wouldn't go away. And the nurses took one look at my chest x-ray and said, shit, that's abnormal. So I first knew something was wrong whenever all the nurses, every nurse in the department, started flooding around this one computer monitor to look at these lungs. So that was my first hint that something was off. I was called into the head of department's office and told, your lungs are grossly abnormal. We're sending you to A&E at another hospital since this hospital does not have an A&E. Please go there immediately. So we did. We drove with the radio on, quietly. We thought about the what ifs, and we arrived there and they said to me, we think you have pneumonia. So I said, okay, I can deal with that, do what you need to do. It wasn't pneumonia. It was cancer. My lung had partially collapsed under the weight of a 5-inch tumour. Now, if you don't know how big 5 inches is, it is about the size of a cantaloupe, a small melon. Yeah, like about, that 12 centimetres, 5 inches, about the same. So, yeah, my lung had collapsed and filled with fluid. That was May 24th, 2016. They took a biopsy of this mass, and they said to me on day of taking the biopsy, we don't know what it is, but we think it's lymphoma. And that was weird. I mean, it's weird being told we think it's cancer. So the next 5 days after the biopsy were spent waiting for the biopsy results. And I hate bank holidays. I hate them because while they get us a day off school, like, I'm not going to protest that, but they held up my cancer results by another day. And I hate bank holidays because of it. I was sitting in the hospital bed freaking out, and it could have been 4 days, but no, it had to be 5 because it was a stupid bank holiday. So I don't like bank holidays. But the results were in, and on June 1st, 2017, I was told that I had stage 3 cancer. We would later find out, after they sent me for a PET scan, it wasn't stage 3, it was stage 4. So that was great. I was started onto urgent chemotherapy, and they told me that I would have to have 6 R-CHOP chemotherapies, 6 intrathecal methotrexates. An intrathecal methotrexate is basically when they inject chemotherapy into your spinal cord, your spinal, like your brain and spinal cord, because normal chemotherapy cannot pass through the blood-brain barrier, and I was at a higher risk of it spreading to my central nervous system, so we had to take extra precautions. So I had 6, think of it like a lumbar puncture where they inject you with stuff in your back. I had 6 of those, I had 6 R-CHOP chemotherapies, and then on the day of my last intrathecal, I was lying on the bed recovering, and they came to me and they said, yeah, you're not done yet. And I said, okay, what's going on? I had to have 3 more chemotherapies, but I also had to have 15 radiotherapies. So my journey wasn't over yet. I was about halfway. The radiotherapy was fairly easy. I mean, the worst part of it was the fact that I had to drive for an hour every day. I mean, well, I don't drive, but I had to be driven up to the hospital an hour every morning, and it was early in the morning. I had to get up at like 7:30, and I was like, nah. So that happened. And then I had to go for the extra 3 chemotherapies. Chemotherapy sucks really bad. The actual chemotherapy was not that bad for me. I mean, I didn't get any sickness, or very rarely would I get sickness, but it makes your immune system drop dramatically. It basically wipes out your immune system. So if you get a cold, you're screwed. You know, you have to be really careful. You have to sanitize your hands, which is why I still have like a bottle of hand sanitizer beside my bed. I've just gotten into the habit. And of course, I find a way to get sick all the time. So after my first chemotherapy, I had 1 infection. After my second chemotherapy, I had 2 infections. After my third chemotherapy, I had 1. After my fourth, I had 1. And then 5th and 6th, I managed to get away with no infections. So that was good. My methotrexate, my extra 3 chemotherapies, I didn't get sick. I didn't get infections, so that was good. But the methotrexate isn't a sit down, get your chemotherapy and go home deal. It's, okay, go into hospital for 5 days, get your chemotherapy, they measure your urine output, they give you an antidote, they put you on constant fluids, so you're bedbound for 5 days, and it's great. But I had the most amazing nurses, the most amazing doctors, and the most amazing friends and family that anyone could ask for. So it made the whole situation a lot more bearable. Now you've all got a bit of backstory. Bear in mind, when all this happened, I was 17. Yeah, this all happened last year. I was 17. I've only just turned 18 now. Actually, being a young person with cancer taught me a lot, and I think I have a maturity that other people don't tend to have at my age, because I've been through so much. And while I would never wish cancer on anyone, and I really do not want cancer to ever happen to me again, I have to say it has changed my life in a positive way. Before my cancer journey, I was very depressed. I saw no point, and it's so different now. It changed my life in a way that I see the value now. I can look at things in a positive way, and I think that's really important. And I'm not saying that cancer is a good thing. I'm not in any way saying that. Just, it was that kind of dramatic, dramatic situation that I really needed to get my ass in gear. And now that it's there, my life is so different, and I'm not glad it's happened, but I'm looking at the positive side of things and saying it was a shitty situation, but I got some good out of it. And I think that that's a very important skill to learn. Something I could never have done this time a year ago. But I didn't react how most people would react whenever they're told they have cancer. Of course, I felt a lot of negative emotions, but my general outlook was, okay, where do we go from here? I'm going to kick its ass. Let's just go with it, And in some ways I'm very proud of myself, but in other ways I just did what I had to do. And I think that I just had the capacity to react in that way. I don't see it as anything to be particularly proud of, but yeah, it's kind of a paradox, I don't know. But I suppose the reason I'm making this vlog for my first vlog is that I want to talk a bit about positivity as a whole. Positivity is not being positive all the time, in my opinion. It is being able to look at a shitty situation and say, but that happened and that was good, and this taught me that and that was good. And while that sucked, that made this happen and that was good, you know? Being positive isn't easy, and it does take practice, but I don't know, I mean, I think whenever you get into the way of it, your life will change, and it's always darkest before the dawn. I've been cancer-free for almost 4 months, since February 9th, 2017. So if you do the math, from June 1st, 2017 to February 9th, it's about like, actually I haven't done the math. I was going to say 8 months, but I feel like that's wrong. Yeah, no, about a little less than 8 months. Or a little over, I don't know, about 8 months. Maths is not my strong suit, you should all know this. I managed to get a B in GCSE Maths, and I still don't know how I managed that, but whatever, you know, jobs. So yeah, that was a very hard part of my life. I lost my entire 17 to 18-year-old self. I wasn't able to go out and party. I wasn't able to hang out with friends. I wasn't able to go to school. I wasn't able to sit exams. I wasn't able to do the things that people want to do and the things people don't want to do. And honestly, I think I took things for granted a lot. And I'm able to look at school now and the things that I didn't like before, and I'm able to say, wasn't too bad, you know? But either way, I lost a large part of my life, and since I'm never going to get those years back, I'm determined to make the years that I do have better. I suppose the point I'm trying to make with this video is that things, I don't know how to say this without sounding like completely ableist and, you know, totally disregarding, I don't know, like I'm totally disregarding everyone else's struggles, but there's good in every situation. There's a silver lining to every cloud. There's a rose to every thorn, you know. Things could always be worse, and that's not me saying if you're sad, don't feel sad because someone could have it worse. That's me saying your situation is never at its darkest, no matter how bad it can seem. So take heart that things will improve, you know. I mean, if things are so dark that there's no chance of them getting better, that's how I felt. And now I'm a completely new person. You know, hardships don't last forever, and if something is happening that you don't want to be permanent, don't let it be permanent. I don't know, I feel very ableist saying all this. I feel like I'm a crappy motivational speaker, but I have a lot of emotions right now, and I suppose it's clouding my judgment a bit, but I just think, you know, there's always someone there to help, and there's always hope. It sounds really cheesy, but yeah, there's always hope. You just got to make the best of what you're given, even if it is a shitty situation. Just pick out the positives and dwell on those, you know. So yeah, this was kind of a heavy first vlog, but I think it's quite important to actually talk about these sorts of things. So yeah, I think it's quite important to talk about these kind of things. So I am going to try and keep my cancer journey kind of, you know, this entire vlog, this vlogging channel is not going to be completely surrounding my journey, but there will be mentions of it, so just keep an eye out for the kind of disclaimer at the start. If you see that, you know, it's going to have some sensitive topics, so yeah. Deal with one of my all-time favourite quotes, which is, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle." There's nothing more true than this. You can't see what's going on in everyone else's life, so kindness is so important. Please be kind.